I think my intro is longer than my presentation. As you said, that there was a photo of the mayor and me, which is this picture, and I'll let you guys think about it, and I'll tell you about it after. I work with the Gay Straight Alliance, and I have been working in Prince George I've helped rewrite the harassment policies when I was in high school, which is about 10 years ago, and I never thought about being gay was something different, and I never thought that harassment was bad, because in my head, the harassment was bad publicity, and you can never have too much attention. And so in my head, that's what I always thought it was. And when it finally caught up to me, it was really bad. But I started the first Gay Straight Alliance while I was in high school in 2002, but I graduated, so it quit at the same time. And it didn't start up again for another 6 years. And it started at one of the smaller high schools because of a gay teacher who asked me if it was a good idea, and I said, yeah, of course. And so I helped them get their Gay Straight Alliance going. And also being in the media and growing up in the media, for doing shows and being a drag queen and stuff, people know who I am in Prince George and Northern BC. And having that exposure has allowed me, because I'm pretty chill when it comes to issues and stuff, and if I believe in something, I'll stand up for it and fight. And my parents are the same. They're old hippies. I'm adopted, so they're pretty chill as well. So with that, from high school, I've had 6 queer youth stay at my house because they got kicked out, or they got beat up, or their parents didn't want them at their house. So by allowing them to stay at our house, my parents and my mom, the last kid who was kicked out, he got my number from the media, and he called and said that he was beat up and that his mom kicked him out for being gay, blah, blah, blah. And so I told my mom, and she got the lady on the phone. She got our address. So my mom went over to her house, and they sat and hashed it out and talked for hours and hours, and the kid went home. And so in my head, I never thought, I can't fathom the idea of a parent kicking their kid out for just being gay, or beating somebody up for just being gay. It doesn't compute in my head. I can't understand it. But with the program objective that was with the Gay Straight Alliance was to help the school district, because other than Kamloops, I think, there's nothing in Northern BC for Gay Straight Alliances, or queer support, or gay support, usually. There's nothing, it's crap. And it was allowing a safe place to have the queer youth, the Gay Straight Alliance, people who support gay people. In all of the schools, there's about 7-8 schools, high schools in Prince George who attend it. And there's about 40, the last meeting last week, there's 47 kids at the meeting, just to hang out. And the outcome and the approach to making the Gay Straight Alliance was that there was absolutely nothing. There were some teachers that were supportive, and there was 2 gay teachers in the school district 57, and so it was, for me, I helped out by allowing them access to people who they normally not have access to. So business owners and people in the Northern Health Authority, and people who were managers of different businesses who supported Pride and supported gay events. So people who were in the community who could change things, where I brought them, even if they didn't want to, I brought them to the Gay Straight Alliance so they could talk to these kids and to have them access to questions and be able to feel part of the community, because they're going to be running our city when we're old, or when I'm old. And so I always thought that if you give them the support and give them confidence of who they are and what they are, and not just for being gay, then they can do wonders and do amazing things. And with some of the results that have happened with that are that being in the media and then allowing like the papers and different people like that to come and actually see that there is no big issue about it, and that just being able to support the community itself and have older gay people come to and talk with the Gay Straight Alliance, and having my mom and dad come and talk with the Gay Straight Alliance, and showing that it's not about who you are or your sexuality or what you choose to do, it's how you live your morals and your standards and your life by supporting your community and stuff. So with that, I talked to almost all of the kids and asked them, because I did this and I was like, okay, I got it under control. Then I was talking to a couple of my friends and they were like, there's no end, there's no nothing. And I'm like, oh crap. But the kids, the one who actually is really out there more than I am, is that it said that it helped him a lot, and the Gay Straight Alliance gave him friends who also happen to be gay, and it was largely shaped the person he is today, seeing that there were other people who had a lot of the same problems, and being able to talk about pretty much everything from food to parents to schoolwork and to the weather. And it cultivated some many strong friendships he has to this day now. And so by allowing not such an issue and not such a pressure of the kids, and just to make it cool, and just to be able to hang out and have pizza or watch movies. And so with this picture, like you say, like a picture's worth 1,000 words. This picture was worth like a couple billion words, because it ran last January on the cover of our newspaper saying the mayor was helping out the community, and it's like out the community. And all it was is literally just what it is. It was a bet, because I'm friends with the mayor, that's the mayor Dan Rogers, and I'm friends with him, and we were at an awards thing, and I was like, you have to talk to these kids are great. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, okay, if you do, I'll come dressed up. And those kids have never seen me dressed up like that. Like, they've seen me shows and stuff, but they've never seen me dressed up like that, or be able to interact with me. And so he was there and I was there, and his people or my people or whatever told the media, and the media was there, and they just made it into this little flashy story. And there was such a backlash. I haven't had a backlash like that in like 8 years. It was the worst backlash you could ever read. And the one lady was saying like this whole story, like letters to the editor, about how bad of the mayor he was, and that he was the one that should be wearing pants, even so I am. And it was just awful. It was like ripping your heart out. Awful. Because it's still Prince George and it's still northern BC, and it just went to show that even as much as I'm accepted, it's literally just me that's accepted. It's not the youth of today, and it's not the other gay people who are out fighting for rights or health issues in northern BC. And it was really, really, really awful for me because I was turned into a joke about that picture. And actually the Gay Straight Alliance for Canada, their website, and America and Australia and England ran this issue and ran the article with it. So I kind of went global with it. And I didn't realize it was such a big deal, because you look at it and it looks like an old man and some stripper standing there. So it's actually, we were listening to the kids, and those kids had issues, and it was before the Olympics. So those kids asked the mayor, like, is there any funding from the Olympic Games that are coming to northern BC to help out the athletes? Or what are the issues with the potholes? Because we have a huge issue with that. And what are the issues with the homeless people? Are they being shipped from Vancouver to Prince George or Kelowna? Like, those are the questions that were being asked by the mayor. And so the backlash to that was that these kids were turned gay by us, basically. And it was really, really bad. And it took me going down to the newspaper and telling the editor, you either better cut me a check for the papers I'm selling you, because this is stupid, because it just got really awful. When we do talk, and those kids, and like, I don't know if you've ever been to a Gay Straight Alliance, but those kids will put you in your spot just like that, because they are very truthful and very honest to a point where you just go, shit, I don't know what to say to that. And when we talk about issues, and then you talk about any issue, they have a stand on it, and they have a point on it. Whether it's, if you, like, how often do you use condoms, they all said they all do, which was great. And if you ask them what do they want to be when they grow up, they all have their individual ideas and what they want and how they want to see the city, or how they want to see themselves, where they want to be in like 20 years. And we talked about harassment, and the lady before me was right about the issues. And those kids, you talk about harassment, and I know I got it bad because I was one of 5 Indians in a white school, and out of the 5 Indians, as the only gay person, and everyone knew I was gay before I did, so everyone in the whole school knew. And so those kids don't even have half of what I got of harassment. But it's the end of the world for those kids when they get harassed. And you look at it and you're like, that's like nothing. You're like, you have a walk in the park compared to what I had. And so when it came to that, those kids were so proud of that, and that they brought their parents, they brought those papers to the parents, and they said, I was at that picture, I blah, blah, blah. And they were so proud of it. And I never looked at it as though it was like history, but apparently it is, and that was about it. So, and that's how, I don't know, nurture resilience in gay teens, by just giving them, like, leading by example, and that if you let them know it's not such a big deal to worry about your sexuality, then it gives them the opportunity to work as the person they are, to become a better person and to become a better citizen of the city they're in. And that was all I ever tried to do. And I never thought anything that it was such a big deal, but when I have, like, my mom and the mayor talking to these kids and making, like, waves in the media that these kids are gonna be great people because the way they articulate their words and the way they have their strong opinions on gay sex versus whatever sex, and they'll put it in your face and be like, I don't like this, you should try and, like, answer these questions. And they ask, and I totally tell them, like, ask anything, because I know quite a bit, and being a drag queen for like 10 years, you learn a lot. And so these kids, if they ask something and I don't know, I'll go find out. I'll go ask somebody. Like, this one kid wanted to know about, like, fisting and stuff, and I'm like, fuck if I know, I don't know that. So I had to go find out. I had to go Google fisting and stuff. So these kids wanted to know, and it's not like I've ever held anything back. I'm not the kind of person that tells you, okay, well, you shouldn't talk about that, that's a private issue. Well, fuck that, I'm sorry. I was never raised like that, and the teacher who runs the Gay Straight Alliance is like that. He is very old school, like, I swear to God, like, you watch the gay sex in the 70s, he's one of those guys, because he's so old school, and I don't understand it. I don't get it, and we've had so many arguments, but it's just the difference of generations, and seeing kids nowadays, whether it's like a social issue, about homophobia or about heterophobia. It's a social issue in like social equality rather than homophobia and homosexuality, about harassment and stuff nowadays. It's not like being in the high schools is so different compared to when I was in high school. And it really makes me sound really old, but you look at it nowadays and you can literally just tell a kid, it's going to be okay, don't worry. And you tell them to use condoms or tell them to like Google something or ask somebody or find somebody who knows it, like the questions they want to know. And they do, and they're pretty chill. Like most kids nowadays, like they may have an attitude, but they're pretty cool. So it's neat. So, but I'm going to shut up now. So I think that's all I have.